saying that before any European settlers came over to the New World, as they call, oh, it's my friend Marge. Hey, what's going on? She's just giving a Charles River tour, day in the life. That's a really great tour too. It's limited edition. It's only going on for 2 more weeks. Ask me about the Charles River tour if you're curious. But again, 1630, or before then, this land had been inhabited by native peoples for thousands of years. But today, we're dealing with 1630 to the present. And it was that year that they came, the Massachusetts Bay Company, a group of Puritans under the command of John Winthrop, across the Atlantic and arrived on what was known as the Shawmut Peninsula. So the Shawmut was just a narrow bit of land stretching out in the Boston Harbor. On one side was Back Bay. On the other side was South Bay. And where the city of Boston now lies, where we see these skyscrapers here off the starboard side of the vessel, the right side of the vessel, that used to be 3 rolling hills: Fort Hill, Copp's Hill, and Beacon Hill. Oh, that sounds familiar. Beacon Hill, I've seen that. Well, Beacon Hill is one of the last remaining hills of Boston. And even still, it's about 80 feet shorter than it was in its original form. And that's because the hills of Boston were used to expand the city. In the early days, they had built many wharfs off of the Shawmut Peninsula, like Long Wharf, like Central Wharf, where we see the New England Aquarium. BHC and the New England Aquarium have a partnership, and we bring whale watching ships out to Stellawagon Bank. Ask me about that if you're interested. But after building wharfs like Long Wharf, Central Wharf, Rose Wharf, and many more, they decided that what they would do is take the dirt from the hills and begin to fill in the spaces in between the wharves to extend the shoreline out. This was a process known as the wharfing out of Boston, and in this way, 75% of the city was made. 3/4 of the city of Boston is built on man-made land. And you can only imagine that that didn't happen overnight. So Boston has been changing. It's been changing a lot. And we'll track those changes as we go around the harbor today. For now, let's look at South Boston. Southie, as we call it, used to be South Bay. So all of South Boston is man-made land. It all used to be a swamp. What separates South Boston from Boston proper is the Fort Point Channel. You can see the Fort Point Channel beyond the Northern Avenue Bridge, just to the right of the John Joseph Moakley Federal Courthouse. So you see that brick building with the sloping glass front. That's our courthouse. To the right of it is the Fort Point Channel. And in the Fort Point Channel transpired probably the most infamous protest ever to happen in American history. It was on the night of December 16th of 1773 that a group of patriots who called themselves the Sons of Liberty banded together, snuck down to Griffin's Wharf under the cover of darkness. They forcibly boarded 3 merchant ships, the Eleanor, the Dartmouth, and the Beaver, and made their way down to the cargo hold, at which point they confiscated 92,000 pounds of the King's tea, which they promptly threw into Boston Harbor and destroyed every last leaf of that pernicious weed, as Sam Adams himself called it. Now this, of course, was the Boston Tea Party, or the beginning